Hello, everyone. Let me quickly jump in over here. Yeah. Yes, because I was just doing this. Okay. Y'all have to bear with me for a while. I don't normally do this. Oh dear. A warm welcome to Abode Masters, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters to the Saturday Hualien Dharma talk. A very good morning. Let's start the session today. A short extract from Master Cheng Yan's speech. Great love can accommodate and purify the world. Tzu Chi is a world where the sun never sets. The charity mission of Tzu Chi is all over the world. Medical care forever safeguards love. Humanistic culture is to safeguard wisdom life. The four major missions with the same thought in mind. Integration of religions with a broad mind. Sharing the common aspiration to love all people in the world. Great love can accommodate and purify the world. Let's offer our sincere prayers before we start. Yes, thank you. I am so sorry. I forgot to share sound. That really does a better job. Yeah. Hold on a sec. Okay.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disasters in this world. Read. Loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body, an enlightened mind, and total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we start, let us all rise and pay respects to the Buddha and everybody who has joined us today. Please rise, palms together, first bow, second bow, and a bow. And a bow to our boat masters who can join us today. Okay, today we will have Brother Joe Huang join us, which is very good. And then we will have Sister Debra from the US, who will talk about Tzu Chi Buddhist in action in the US. But before that, I will give you a short, brief summary from last week's sharing. Give me a sec. Now I have to find the other. Okay, finish this last time. Okay, everyone can see, yeah. So last week we had Sister Audrey from Singapore, and she was talking about resetting herself in 21 days. In 2009, her journey began as a Tzu Chi volunteer with a new life plan. Then in 2012, a vegetarian path was taken. No more meat, no more bacon. In the beginning, Sister Audrey thought the 21-day challenge was too green. She needed spice. She needs for some heat to be seen. She loved fat and sugar, even if she knew it wasn't right. She acknowledges that she was skinny fat and weighed herself every night. Her saving grace was the encouragement from colleagues that she found, which gave her companionship too, with love abound. Also, the preschool she was at was a collection point for the 21-day test, but rice every day, she wasn't impressed. Over time, though, she found the food was colorful and real. No more processed food, all the items she could taste and feel. Her colleagues helped her eat her big meals without any chilies. Slowly but surely, she started enjoying her meals with no added frillies. Oh wow, 3 kilograms of fat lost just from eating right. No cravings for junk food, just regular appetite in sight. Savory and sweet oats for breakfast she now eats. No more mock meats, just real food treats. Her gut health is great, with no constipation, no more lethargy or food coma sensation, no more processed food or simple carbs, more awareness, clearer mind, and no more food bumps. Breakfast now oats with trail mixes, coffee no more than 3 cups. No more 3 cups. Lunch with quinoa or millet with veggies and no more greasy ups. Wholesome food cooked with little or no oil. Exercising too, even 15 minutes. She will not foil. Visual aids with trackers to help her see the progress she's made since now she's set free. Sister Audrey says 21 days to reset, give your body a chance. Detox and change. Take that healthier stance. Encourage and challenge, do this favor for yourself and feel the difference in your general health. Lunch boxes in anticipation and food enjoyed, a permanent change with love employed. And we had Tim Pokolsky, who was based in Malaysia for a while, and this is his true story about turning his life around. Tim's journey began in the land of stars and stripes, where meats were his love and Philly cheesesteak his hype. 100 kilos he weighed, a hardcore meat eater who hated veggies. Oh, what a daunting feature. But lockdown struck, and in just 6 months' time, he lost 25 kilos and felt more than just fine. Why didn't I do this before, he thought, as the power of healthy eating in his mind was caught. He did a 180 change 3 years and 3 months ago. With a plant-based diet, he now enjoys a healthy glow. It worked for him, and it can work for you, your family and friends too, a lifestyle anew. Most diets fail, but this one's sustainable. Amazing healthcare there, not just attainable. Communicable diseases have decreased over time, but communicable ones have increased in a steep climb. Food-related they are, those lifestyle diseases. People have no sense of urgency. There's always medication appeases. Also, there are many types of diet. It's all too confusing. Utilitarian, flexitarian, paleo, vegan, oh, the choosing. Till Tim found Dr. Colin Campbell and Dr. Dean Ornish have paved the way. The two are consulting physicians to President Bill Clinton's day. The plant-based diet explosion has been tremendous in the last 20 years. In Malaysia, Tim found Chef Dave's inspired food, tasty, convenient, affordable, a lot to cheer. The Plant-Based Health Alliance team started with care. The 7 to 14 days challenge, a chance to give yourself a dare. In Malaysia, where 50% of the population is overweight, 40% has high cholesterol, 30% has hypertension, and 20% has diabetes. Act now before it's too late. Yet people are drinking less, smoking less, and exercising more. So if diseases are still up, it's only diet that's the main factor, that's for sure. After the challenge, all markers drop: weight, cholesterol, and blood sugar too. Across all ages, plant-based diet is the breakthrough. The valley of the pleasure trap is hard to cross. It will take time. 21 days is to allow your body to adjust to the rhythm sublime. Be kind to yourself and celebrate your impact. Your health is too important not to want to own it back. It's not just health, but the environment's affected too. For Tim, in 3.3 years, 1,000 sentient lives saved and 11 metric tons of CO2. 5 million liters of water saved, equivalent to 2 pools. The huge resource drained from meats is now reduced. Time to rewrite the rules. To end, Tim had Tzu Chi Foundation and ProVac International to thank for supporting this positive impact on people's lives, big deposits in the health bank. He urged others to share it if you have experienced it, this plant-based way. Truly a healthier and greener world starts with you today. Thank you for listening. Okay, now I hand over to Sister Su Ching to introduce the next speaker. Thank you so much.
And for the most wonderful summary of last week sharings. Trust those who have attended it today will feel great rejoicing listening to the summary again. Dear most respected Master Chen Yan, both masters, brothers and sisters, good day to everyone, and Gan for staying up so early. Today, we are most grateful to again listen to this chapter 11 of Wisdom at Dawn, episode 1278 on the 3 transformations of the lens. All Buddhas use their powers of skillful means to transform sentient beings who have affinities with them. It reminded back then on 12 December 2015, when Brother Joe Huang first shared live English Dharma with us weekly, online, which was something unprecedented back then. As most of the live Dharma listenings are either held at Tzu Chi Learning Center and mainly conducted in Mandarin back then. So to have English live Dharma talks back then every week from Hualien, streamed to across the world, it was very rare and much awaited. Indeed, back then, Brother Joe has benefited many sentient beings who have affinities, and soon all these seedlings starts to sprout and they bring in more to be benefited. Today, we are most grateful that the platform has reached across many places around the world, and it inspired the setup of many other online sessions in different languages. Our deepest gratitude to Brother Joe, and words could not express how much is our gratitude at heart. So today, we are again most thankful and happy to have Brother Joe back to guide us. Without much ado, let us pass the platform to Brother Joe. And over to you, Brother Joe.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sister Su Ching, and good morning, everybody. It's been a long time. Ever since I think the crossing of the year from 2022 to 2023, I think due to various schedule conflicts that I wasn't able to be on Saturdays, and how fast time has flew by, that now it's already the end of April. So very quickly you turn around and it's 4 months past already in the year of 2023. And it's been that long. It's been that long, more than a season. The time length of the season has already gone by. So it's once again grateful. I'm very grateful and honored to be able to present and share with all of you in English about some of the insights and some of the key messages that I thought that I have recently felt and also realized that I think is very pertinent to what we are hearing today from the chapter 11 of the Lotus Sutra. So today I wanted to go through not all, but one, and not completely, but in a more detailed inspection of the story. One of the things about the Lotus Sutra is that it uses parables, and it uses stories in a very colorful way. This is the reason, this is the tool that the Buddha used to try to make a very difficult point across to the people who might not be so keen, or who might not be so understanding, or having the capacity or the capability to right away grasp what the Buddha was trying to say, or the main teachings that the Buddha was trying to say. So through the uses of stories, the Buddha was able to convey these difficult points. And even if you don't get the difficult points, you would at least get the story. And even if you don't get the story, the complete story, you would get part of the story. And any of those, getting part of the story, getting all of the story, or getting the main points, or getting the side points of the story, anything in that category, it's already considered a win, because at least the people are getting something. So I think that was a very important direction. And we see that through different religions too. In the different religious texts, they used stories or anecdotes or accounts from specific people to try to bring it closer to the people who will be reading this, bring it closer to the people who will be studying this and trying to learn from this. If this is talking about something that is so far and away, people will read it, people will remember it, but people will think that this is so far away that we're not there yet, and it's got nothing to do with me. For example, when we were growing up, we were reading stories about, on TV. And in my time when I was growing up, the TV shows that we were watching, when it talks about scientific exploration, when it talks about space exploration, it's probably Star Trek or Star Wars or anything related to that. And it paints a story about the very futuristic 26th century or 24th century, depending on what episodes or what type of things that you're watching, or something that's very far, far away. And when you saw these stories, when you saw the movies, it would immediately jumps out to you that this is probably not us. This is some place that's very long or some time that's very far away. And it's hard to relate. It's not impossible, but it's hard to relate to them as to that is my life too. And I should use that in my life. It's harder. However, if the story is about the contemporary world, the world that we live in, it's easier for us to take, and it's easier for us to receive the message. That's where these stories come in. Something that is more pertinent to us now, something that is relevant, something that you as simple, common folks, I'm not talking about you guys, but I'm talking about the recipients of these Sutra back 2,500 years ago, that these people, they are mothers and fathers, they are children, they are daughters and sons. They're probably, they have been sick before, and they have seen disasters before, or things that might go wrong. So that's why the stories have to be really, really related to them, because it's part of what they can understand. It's like speaking in the language that people understand, rather than using a lot of jargons, business, or very specific terms, highly legal terms that people can't understand. And so you can talk for all you want, but people won't understand. So that was very important to set this stage, that the Lotus Sutra uses stories in a very open and free way so that people can understand, so that people can easily accept at least the premise of the story. Can they extend further? That's a different, that would be a different part of the presentation in the future. But at least they will remember the stories. So the 7 main stories of the Lotus Sutra are listed here, and they are spread throughout in various chapters. There isn't one chapter that talks about all these 7 stories, but as we have gathered and learned that these are the 7 stories. So today we're going to look into the first story, burning house. The burning house came about in chapter 3. In chapter 3, the chapter of a parable. And today we're going to be going through the story, the burning house. And I would like to, not the complete story, but I would like to take you guys through the actual text, albeit translated, and what I have gained, the insight that I have thought about. And this was actually part of our discussion here at the abode, because right now we are on the 3rd chapter in our book study. And our discussion is actually very, I believe, is in depth. And there are certain things that I didn't even realize on the first pass when I was first hearing this and learning this about 10 years ago. I think it was 2013. That was the time when Master actually gave the talk on the chapter 3. So the stories are here to help us reflect. But today we're going to dive into the story, and hopefully there are some key points that I wanted to make that you guys, that hopefully would resonate with you. the one main thing that I wanted to make was the concept of infallible. What is infallible? Infallible, according to the definition, the dictionary definition, is incapable of making mistakes or being wrong. And usually we use infallible usually in religious terms, because if you use it to any normal human being, it's almost always contradictory, because by virtue of being a human being, to err is human, right? So we're going to make mistakes. So if you use this adjective on human beings, then usually, almost always, it's a contradiction. However, this term is usually used in religious terms to describe deity or to describe God, in that, I'm sorry, there's this broadcast going on, and I wanted to make sure that I hear the broadcast. Okay, so it's about somebody losing their cell phone. So okay, let me just continue. So usually infallible is used to describe deity or God, that their decisions and their insights, their observations are not wrong, are never wrong. Okay, so I want to keep this in mind. What is infallible, and how does it actually relate to the Buddha or to the universal enlightened one? And is the Buddha infallible? Was the Buddha infallible? And was he always right in making the decisions? And this will come up soon. And no, I am not trying to prove that the Buddha is wrong or fallible. That's not what I mean. But let's go through the story. So the story of the burning house, and this is taking out from the translated text. So through some modifications. Okay, so I'm just gonna read through this. So the fire breaks out. There's a house, big house. There are many children living there, and there are servants, people living in this big house. The owner of the big house is what we call here the affluent man. And this affluent man is considered the elder, or considered the character of the Buddha, and is also the father. And so he saw the fire is breaking out everywhere, and he became alarmed and terrified. Now, this is very straightforward, right? Telling you that in this story, that the affluent man, or the father, or the elder, depending on what is the pronoun or the term that you want to give, realize that there's a fire, right? So he begins to think to himself that I am capable of escaping through the burning entrance in safety. I am able to get myself out. I'm already considered safe because I can get out. However, the children are not. But why? So he already thinks to himself, I can get myself out, no problem. But my children are absorbed in play within the burning house and are not aware of the fire. So he's making this assessment, right? You sort of like, in movies, because I've never been into a burning house, so I can only relate to it through movies or through TV shows or through common sense. Now, common sense might not work in the time of fire, because I think there's adrenaline, there's the sense of urgency, all these things kick in. Your senses might not be working compared to where we are now, okay? So it might be heightened senses, it might be complete in a disarray, whatever it might be, it might not be what we think right now. However, through the story, and this is in the original text or the original translated, a version of the English translated text from the Lotus Sutra, chapter 3, was that the affluent man or the father, let's just make it easy. The father knows there's a fire and he was terrified. So he knows the danger. He knows the fire, he knows the danger, he knows the harm that the fire is going to do, okay? And so he began to contemplate, now I can get myself to safety. However, the children are not. They are not aware of the fire and they're absorbed in their play, okay? So he began to inspect and then think, my children do not know, are not alarmed or terrified. I am alarmed and terrified, but they're not. They're not aware, and the fire is approaching them. And then he further assessed that not only are the children do not know, but they're not alarmed and terrified, and they're not troubled by the fire. Okay, so all these are very similar, right? Do not know, not alarmed and terrified, not troubled by the fire, right? So all these things are what he observed. He observed and he made he made this assumption that because the children are absorbed in play, either they do not know about the fire or they know about the fire, but they didn't show that they're alarmed or terrified. So they're not troubled by the fire. And it's very clear that they do not intend to leave the house. So we get a very clear picture of the problem. There's a fire. The father knows there's a fire. The father is afraid, alarmed, and terrified. But the children, who is also in the fire, in the house of fire, are not. So you have the father who is very clear about what's happening and about the danger that is approaching. And you have the children who are not. Okay, so now let's look at this, right? Why? So we saw from the text, the father, he assessed the situation, right? He knew there's a fire. He saw the children. He knew that children were absorbed in the play. They were playing their things. They were doing their things, right? They were chatting online, or they were talking on the phone, or they're playing their games, or they're reading their books. Whatever they were doing, it was absorbed in them, right? So because of that, they didn't know about the fire. The fire was behind them. They didn't see it, or they're absorbing what they're doing. They didn't see it. And because they didn't know about the fire, so everything is sort of sequential. It's very logical. But one thing I really enjoy and I really love learning Buddhism through Dharma Master Cheng Yen was, Master is very, very logical and very, very scientific. Everything is, you can almost use scientific method to prove and to move the logic forward. So if you look at this, it is very clear that there's a cause and effect. The affluent man or the father saw the effect and sort of using logic to get to the source of the problem. So now we're seeing this from the source to the end, from the cause to the effect. But the father saw it from the cause, from the effect, and then logically deduct what would be the cause of what he saw as the effect. I hope that was clear. I think I really botched it up. Okay, so let me try to make it clearer. So we are reading this, the 4 different points. They're absorbed in play. They don't know about the fire. They're not alarmed and terrified, and they don't intend to leave the house. This is what we see in sequence. But what the father saw was actually that they don't intend to leave the house, and they're not alarmed and terrified. So he logically deduced this to assume that the children do not know about the fire, and it was because they're absorbed in play. Okay, so he assessed the situation, and this is what he got. So let's continue reading on. So the father thinks to himself, I am still physically strong. I could take the children out of the house in the folds of my garment, to protect them, right? Like if you're a newborn baby, you would wrap them around in the garment, right? And you carry them out rather than just, drag them out, right? You wrap them around in the garment because the hands and feet are flaring, right? So you wrap it around so they keep the hands and feet inside, and you sort of protect them, right? In the folds of the garment or on top of the desk. Now, this is very, very interesting. You lift the desk and you have the children sitting on top of it. So you're sort of having a little transportation device, right? You have a small platform you carry, and then the children sit on top of it and say, sit tight, hold on tight, and you just ran through, right? So that's what went through the father's mind. I am physically strong, and I could take them out, right? I could wrap them around, and I could take them out, or I could get them all to be on this table, and I'm just gonna grab the table and run. Okay, so that was very graphical, okay? And because there's only one entrance to this house, now that is why we have the building code, okay? You always have a fire escape, but anyway, we're talking about a parable, a story who trying to get us to be related. And it works, right? 2,500 years ago, when this story was truthfully told, it was actually told to the audience, there wasn't any building code. You're lucky if you have one door, right? Because most of the time you probably don't have a door, and it's really, anybody can walk in and walk out. That's very dangerous. So usually in a big house, if this is a really big house, in the story, the house was big. You're talking about hundreds of people. There's 10s and 20s and 30s and 50s of children. And then there are servants that work around, that work in the house. So it's big, but there's only one entrance to this house. And it's very narrow. So please, if you want to build a big house that houses hundreds of people, please have more than one door. And even if you want to make only one door, please make it wider. But anyway, so there's only one door, one entrance, and it's very narrow. So, oh my goodness, right? Double whammy, double jeopardy, and horrible. So the father knew that I could do all this. However, the children who are immature and still unaware are attached to their place of play. So once again, the father made this assessment. I am strong and I could get them out, but it's not going to work very well. It's not going to work because, various reasons. And then he made this next assessment. The children are immature. So what does that mean? It means that even if I were to forcefully take them out, if they're still absorbed and attached to their play, they might still run back, right? If I forcefully take them out, they might still run back. So it's not going to work. So he made these assessments. And so his actions should reflect his assessment, right? The children are absorbed in their play. They're attached to their place of play. They're immature. They're not aware of the fire. And they're not afraid. And they're not alarmed. They're not terrified. None of this, all of this is what he assessed. And none of this is a reason for them to get out of the fire, right? No reason. They're immature, so even if they know there's a fire, they might not come out. They're attached to their play, so they don't care. They don't know there's a fire, so why would they leave? Or they're not afraid of the fire, so there's no reason for them. So none of this, that all the assessments indicate that the children will not leave, okay? So, but the father saw the real danger. They may fall into danger and be burned by the fire. I should now tell them of the danger, right? So the father made all this assessment and knew that there's no more time. I need to do this, right? So he considered his options. I can carry them out, and the dangers are still around. So they're still attached to places of play. So what am I going to do? Right? So the Sutra says, this house is already burning. The father thinks to himself, they must escape as quickly as they can to avoid being burned by the fire. So he said to the children, children, run out immediately. That was his method, right? He shouts out the answer, even though, look at all the things that we have gone through. Look at all these consideration, all the parts that he had assessed, and the father had numerously told himself that these children are immature, that not aware of the danger, not scared, terrified. They don't know about the fire and absorb in play. Yet the method he chose actually didn't cancel out any of the problems. He knew through his assessment that these children have a lot of issues. Yet the method he chose, I don't think directly dealt with the issues that he knew existed, right? If you knew that the children were immature, shouting out the answer, like for example, the children just don't like to take afternoon naps. I was one of them. And I would suffer in the afternoon classes because I didn't take a nap. So in Taiwan, in our classes, when I was in first grade, I mean, when I was in kindergarten, they taught you that you need to take afternoon naps, right? So that's where you learn. And then in first grade, second grade, all throughout elementary school, we have afternoon naps, and even in junior high and high school. But usually children, after eating, they're not really going through digestion, and they're still very hyped, right? And there's this rush. And so it's hard to quiet them down. So that they're rushed. They're sugar rushed. That they just ate and they are very, they're still very active. So getting them to sleep by shouting out, sleep, probably isn't the best way, but it might work. So the affluent man chose his method. Shout out the answer, right? Do it, run out, right? And was he wrong? Was the affluent man or father, was he wrong in making this decision? And let's look at the effect. So although their father, in his concern, has given them the proper advice, this was right? The house is burning. You got to get them out. This is the proper advice, right? The children are still immersed in their play and do not accept it. Well, what do you think? You already assessed it. You already knew that. You knew that they were immature. You knew that they were attached. You know all of this going in, and you made this choice to give them the proper advice, right? So therefore, they are neither alarmed nor afraid and have no intention of leaving the burning house. So you made a choice, you made a decision, you chose this path, and the effect is nothing. There was no effect, right? The children are still immersed as they were before. You shouted, and they do not accept it as before. They are neither alarmed nor afraid as before. And they have no intention of leaving the burning house as before. So what did you do? You made a decision. You made a choice to do something that has no effect. Even in this time, a very critical time when things are happening. Burning house, this is critical, emergency. And moreover, this is the effect, right? So they do not even know what a fire is. They still don't know what a fire is because you just tell them to quickly get out of the house. So you didn't tell them the fire. And the condition of the house, you didn't explain, or what they may lose, right? So they merely run about. They still do their things. And looking at their father, running around east to west, north to south. And they look at him as, like comically, looking at the father running back and forth, comically, entertaining that the father was looking back and forth. The father was running back and forth. So it didn't work. You knew all the problems going in, but you didn't address any of the problems. You just shout out the very proper advice. So thereupon the affluent, then he began to contemplate. The house is already engulfed in flames. If my children and I do not get out, we might perish. So I will now use skillful means to help my children escape from this disaster. Okay, so and the question is, well, why not just go straight? You knew the children were absorbed. You knew the children were immature. And you knew all this ahead of time. But you chose to do something that a mature child, or someone who knew someone who would do the right actions would probably accept. If you try to explain reasoning to someone who is unreasonable, then you are being unreasonable, right? If you are trying to explain logic to someone who is illogical, then you are illogical because you shouldn't be taking that course. And so this is the question that I wanted to say. So why didn't you just go straight to the skillful means? Why did you try to do something? I understand. I'm just, making this issue, making this a non-issue an issue, because I wanted to go in deeper, because I don't think that so the children hearing what the father said and became excited. So I'm out of time, and next part I will do next time. But I wanted to share with you, so what is considered to be fallible? I don't think that, I think that the Buddha and the universal enlightened one, I believe that they're all infallible. But I think in my dictionary or in my definition of infallible, it does not mean not making mistakes. Or it could loosely still mean that. But I think infallible means that you could make mistakes, but you correct them and you make the best out of this mistake. So it's not a mistake. So in another word, you're still not making mistakes. Okay. And I believe that's why I believe that the Buddha is infallible. And through this story, the elder or the affluent man or the father was infallible because he made an adjustment. And not only that, if you read through the text more carefully, he made a lot of assessments as we have gone through. He made assessments based on his observation. And while he was shouting to the children, he further proves that the assessment was actually right. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes we know the answer and we sort of ask, well, why didn't you do this first? It takes steps and methods to get to that answer. We know the answer, which was the skillful means. But how did you know you need to use skillful means? Well, because there were process and steps along the way to make us realize that we really need skillful means. And that is not wrong or right. That was the process to get us there. The process itself isn't wrong. The process is called trial and error. You need to try. Even for someone who is as wise, you can just look at it and you know right away. Oh, you like apple. Oh, you like watermelon. You need to ask, here's an apple and here's a watermelon. What would you like? And the child will pick what he likes. Therefore, the father or the father or the affluent man would know what you like and then make further assessment about who this person is, about your capacity. Same thing in this world. There is no wrong, or there's not a mistake if you can learn and make adjustments. So I think that's what infallible really means, is that it's not that you will not make wrongs. It's that you make the best and you learn from any wrongs that you have made. And therefore you right that wrong in consequence. And therefore there was no wrong to begin with because you actually arrive at the right conclusion. So we can go in more detail in the future sessions, but let's stop right here because I think today I just wanted to bring out that there's so much that we can learn from even a simple story as the burning house, something that we're so accustomed and used to. But there's still so much that we can learn if we put our heart and mind into it and really, really connect it to our lives. Then you would really begin to think that sometimes you make the assessments, but you still make you decided on the course of action that might not be the best. But that's not wrong if you're able to make adjustments and accommodate to what you saw as the outcome. And then you tweak, and then you find the best solution. And I think that's what the father did. The father chose the next course of action to correct and to try to get the children to safety. Okay, so next, I think it's very important that what we learn from these stories, and especially in the position of the affluent father, that we understand, that we know that piloting or helming on the helm of the ship, especially when the ship is huge and gigantic, it takes time for you to full rudder and try to get the ship to change course. So it's very important for the person at helm to be able to see far and to be able to see wide and to be able to make adjustments. And that's what the story told us. And I think if you look at the Tzu Chi Foundation across the world, there are some very big places, or there are some places where we are making, there are these places where we're doing great deeds and we're doing great work. And there are a lot of people involved, and it's actually usually very difficult decisions. But you always need somebody who is at helm to be able to make the decisions, to be able to execute the course of action. And that's very, very difficult. So today, we are very, very happy to invite Sister Debra, who is the CEO of the Tzu Chi USA, who is doing wonderful and great work, not just within the continental US, but also who are doing spreading out the effect and influences across the globe to different parts of the world through UN, and also across to different religions. And I think that all this work is wonderful, and it was very difficult. And today we're very honored and pleased to have Sister Debra to come on and share with us. So thank you, Sister Debra, and please do share with us your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I did not know you'll become an MC at the same time after your classes. So my time is started from 4:30 to, I'm sorry, you were 8:30, you were 7:30 to 8:30. And I'm trying to share with you what we have doing for the past couple months. As so many things happen. So let me quickly, we have 19 people on the crowd right now. Let me share with you my PowerPoint presentation. Tzu Chi USA, today happened to be Earth Day in USA, in Taiwan. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about Tzu Chi Global Citizens Movement, to share with you I check it out, majority of you are very young. So talk about the Earth Day, what we can do. And maybe some of you already know the invest in our planet. The left-hand side, that's the Earth Day logo. The right-hand side is Tzu Chi Foundation logo. And we use different approach, like the Mother Earth need every one of us to be care. So sustainability, making a positive impact in everything we do. It is so critical. We have to think about that. How to make a positive impact. I would like to invite every one of you, if you see the presentation, if you have any questions, I will reserve 10 minutes for you to ask the question you may have. I'll be very happy to have a conversation and then to learn from you more. I remember back to 2016 when I and my team, we went to Peru to attending UNCCC meeting. At that time, we've been thinking so hard. What can we do to carry out Master Zhen Yan's legacy? She has been trying to tell everybody become a vegetarian. How can we influence? I use influence. How can we influence UN family or all the NGO, INGO to be aware of Tzu Chi's movement? So in Peru, believe it or not, we just set up an ethical eating tone right on the UNCCC. We use the facility that we have a booth, and then we started to do survey and ask everybody, are you vegetarian? Do you plan to support vegetarian movement? And what is your diet? Do you think vegetarian will improve your health? Do you have any resistance? So we have been using such a dynamic conversation. And as you may know, in Peru, the country is in south part of the globe. So to them, vegetarian is a word, a magic. So they have no idea. So started from 2016, we slowly to build it up a platform. And if you remember, at that time, we started from January 11. We have 111 because January, everybody make up the New Year resolution. Everyone would like to know more about what will be their personal goal. So the reason we pick it up January 11 is a wish, a 111, from one to become endlessly. So that's why we started. And then we do a lot of social media posts. We create a lot of marketing materials. And you can see on the screen, how can ethical eating make a difference? And can you please pledge to join? I have to say thank you, every one of you. You've been part of the process and you contribute your effort. And when we share this kind of information, we also get a lot of support. This report, this pie chart is not done by Tzu Chi. This pie chart is done by Unitarian. They also part of our partners. And they try to tell everybody, you know, if you could become a vegetarian, what kind of effort and benefit you're going to be, what is the ethical eating means to you. They even report a lot of article in their newsletters and to support it. So they have a lot of questions like eat a plant-based diet, what will be that way, and then are you doing so, or leave car here, okay, that bicycle or walk, So whenever you see on the screen right now, this is the way they promote ethical eating day. And then 2016, I'm so grateful, Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital, Dr. Lin Mingnan, because at that time he also joined with us in Peru. And he started to say, this is a great idea. We should put healthcare and then the diet together. So at that time, he talked to healthcare without harm. And then healthcare without harm from United States and Canada, January 3rd, right before January 11th, they have a special support. So they support Tzu Chi Foundation Ethical Eating Day. And then, can you believe or not, all the investments have an impact. You are in Taiwan, some of you are from different area. And if you go to Tzu Chi Dongqu Huisuo, you will see we have our dream come true, our live kitchen to share with everyone how to become a vegetarian movement, how to prepare the food, and even have a lab for you to learn how to prepare the food. So what I'm trying to share is right here, started from 2016 until now. Our original concept is 111, New Year resolution, started one day, but now become every meal, every moment. And then even better, we have 21-day health diet, this kind of supporting to tell people health and diet are really related. So the investment did have an impact. It's a matter of how you're going to proceed. So I just come back from Taiwan. It's a huge impact this time when I go home. And I would like to invite you, spend some time with me. Let's reflect what we see when we go back to Taiwan.
Sister Debra, there is no sound.
I'm so sorry. Hold on. I forgot to turn on. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
I forgot to turn on.
We were really watching the video in silence.
But the music is so good. Sorry.
Understand.
Sorry about that. Okay. With the music. Do you think our home is how pretty they are? It's amazing, huh? I'm so sorry at the beginning I did not have the soundtrack. So honestly, this time when we went back to abode, there's a lot of area maybe to you see every day. For us, we treasure the moment, and then we have a chance go to Guandu and also see the new Tzu Chi home, the power of the fountain. It's a lot of profound meaning right there. So it's amazing. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you. I've been in the global platform for some time, but like 2016, we started ethical eating movement. And now so many international platform, we are talking about intergeneration gap. We are talking about Tzu Chi is facing a lot of internal talent, volunteers, staff, leaders be engaged. So last year in August 2022, in the United States, we started to think about what would be the best way to bring the young talent to join Tzu Chi family. What would be the best approach to let them to start to aware and to know how can they engage. So we started a program called Grant Remote Internship Project. So in the August 22nd, 2022, we recruit all the potential candidates from the whole United States. We one way identify so-called 4-in-1 team to cultivate talents applying for the grants. You know, me know, no financial support, we cannot make the program move forward. And the other way is that the young generation have the opportunity to understand Tzu Chi from different perspectives and participate in the spreading the seeds of Tzu Chi's cause. So from Northern California, Southern California, Minnesota, Ohio, New Jersey, the invitation sent to all the United States regional team lead. But we have this area, these 5 areas, local leadership, support. So totally, we have 16 participants. And started from August 2022, every month they have assignment, they have homework, all done by the Zoom call. And this 6-month internship program divided into 4 different themes. We provided the concept note for them. And the concept note also generated by them. And that's the United States, we are nonprofit organizations, we are faith-based organizations. And this is a volunteer-based project. And the content, the basic structure of the subsidy application documents. So they have to understand what is subsidy program and what is Tzu Chi doing locally. And then they have to complete a grant process. Believe it or not, from day 1 until 6 months, they have 16 registration for this internship. And finally complete is 15. And you can see they have Tzu Sao, they have Su Ching, they have senior high school students. And they did accomplish, they finished MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. They finished activity proposal. They really go into the community, talk to their 4-in-1 team. I share with you, so simple and easy. The process is not easy. They submitted a request for proposal. So this is the first year they did a wonderful job. I have to give the credit to Shelley Shelly Wang. She is the mover and shaker to make the whole process completed. She is only 32 years old. She has been graduate from United States USC. She's a social worker. She has very rich experience in social work, and she engaged to Tzu Chi in USA a lot of disasters, Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Sandy. She has been engaged stage by stage, so she knows what will be the best implementation project for the local. So all the participating interns, those 15 completed, they are all born and raised in the United States. English is their first language communication. They can read and write perfectly, and they can do very quickly research. And she believed the grant internship has effectively attract this group of the young people, and they can continue carry, not just finish the MOU, the submission. And after the graduation, they share what is their feeling. They share, thank you so much, Sherry School. I really appreciate the experience and knowledge I gained through this internship. And Adi also mentioned about, I'm going to apply this knowledge for my future professional careers. And Jason also mentioned about, I was able to find out how good those students are. And while working on the project, I can strongly feel the compassion in their presentation. What I'm trying to share is a lot of time before, we always think about in USA, to become an effective volunteer have to be 18 years old. But this time, this group Tzu really proved, no, it's not really. It's the program that we invited. It's the program we create a space for them to engage. So the community 4-in-1 Siku feedback, 2 interns from Orange County, Southern California. They already involved in the community, assisting the 3-in-1 team to record free clinic activities. And community volunteers say that in the future, they will definitely work hard to invite young people to participate in more community activities and accompany them carefully and pass them on. A lot of time we just think about, oh, young people, well, they have to do like Siku doing. But as a matter of fact, they have their own judgment, but they need time and space. How can we work with them in that way? During this 15 completion, I saw they are very proactive. They are very assertive. This year, CSW is in 67 in March, June to 17. Nina Wu, she is only 16 years old. Clary Wang and William Wang, one is 15 and 17. They proactive say, we want to participate CSW. At the beginning, we are so shocked and we are so surprised they make the request, but we follow with their request, make it happen. And CSW also agree to send the invitation. Why? Intergeneration gap. And this year, the topic, innovation and technology, change education in the digital age. This is who is doing that, young generation. So the Tzu Chi families, intergenerations, you can see a huge difference. When they go to United Nations, they wear not Tzu Chi uniform, but after they go inside, they've been recognized during a different occasion. They put their uniform in. So a lot of time you demonstrate the environment, they can feel they would like to change. And this time we also very brave and very, very aggressive to invite our Tzu Chi University Professor Alice to come over to join CSW and talk to the Tzu Chi digitalization. And we also share Master's daily Dharma teaching. And I would like to thanks to our Dharma team. They really make their efforts for so many years. So when we talk about Tzu Chi digitalization, as a matter of fact, at the beginning, the Generation Z challenged me, say, Tzu Chi no digitalization. We did not use smartphone. We did not use this. We did not use that. We don't have any digitalization to prove, to share. I say, no, we do. Master come to our home every day through TV, through line, through so many social media, through YouTube. This is one of the digitalization tool for Tzu Chi to sharing what is Tzu Chi Dharma. So during the CSW, I really would like to invite you to see this little girl, Fatiha Ayat. She spoke at COP27, talk about right on the United Nations, talk about youth climate action. Can you believe it? How old is she? You can type your guess on the chat. Just guess. I'm not going to share with you her age until the last moment Q&A. Fatiha, she spoke at the UN HQ talking about youth climate action. When I saw her during the reception that UNICEF host, she come close to me, so straightforward, and give me a big hug. And I'm so shocked. I say, who are you? I never see you. And she said, you look like my teachers. I say, okay, at least somebody say I look like a teacher because our Tzu Chi commissioner's dress code. And we also met with our friends, right side, the top picture, Bruce. And then on the right-hand side, second picture, you can see a lot of youth, our youth team. So when they go into United Nations, that building, and then after engagement, you can see the change. And we also have UNICEF support our statement and join our presentation. And Ashley on the left-hand side and our partners from Sierra Leone, it's been amazing partnership. And Fatiha host a special panel discussion. The panelists, including President Obama's strategic planning officer, UNICEF partnership VP, Save the Children CEO. She is such a bright and talented ambassador for UNICEF. So it's also opened the door for me to think about where would be our Tzu Chi ambassador when we are in this age where we are. So the education is such a huge dynamic. We also have chance to meet with Columbia University team. Currently, we are talking about student exchange program. So we have a lot of opportunity. Now I'm setting the stage for the first remote brainwriting workshop. They really surprised me. The whole team is they help Boston Tzu Sao promote home body care electronic system. They got funding. Their grant application got funding support, not only from the city of Boston, also from entrepreneur to provide tablet computer for them to educate, to share with the senior how to use the tablet to promote, to establish, to access the correct information. And currently from home body, it's already extended to another level of care. And this is digitalization. The other way I would like to share is recently for the past 18 months, our office in Sacramento, it's 20 years. Last year, they host a Jubilee charity concert. Everything, all the planning, all the coordination, they do the fundraising. They show their abilities. They perform their own special art performances, and they compose a movement of love. This is the true successful empowerment. A lot of time we call the young generation called Generation Z. They are really the pillars of our society in the future, but we need to put the seeds of kindness in their hearts and accommodate working with them well so we can see a better world in the future. Community volunteers program create a team capacity building. So from the remote brainwriting, this is just a beginning. This is the way they open their door for them to understand, besides classroom work, what else they can participate, what else they can engage. They have a lot of opportunity to work with Tzu Chi Buddhist. So on the slide, you can see in Tzu Chi HQ, we promote refurbished and second used or sometimes brand new clothing, donations from everyone. From donation to put everything organized, to separate them into different categories. You can see Tzu Sao is doing everything. And sending love to its most needed area. They demonstrate, they put the clothing together. They also deliver the donation to the homeless and to the students, their colleagues who has no capacity to have additional clothing. We talk to the school, some of them, and arrange a special time to respect their privacy. They can come in to pick up some of the clothing and shoes. So from this area, they also expanded to do international disaster support. From Ghana, Haiti, Somalia, great love transcends without boundary. And all the seasonal clothes, I call seasonal clothes because sometimes it's summer, winter, shoes, coats, blankets, Tzu Chi blankets, and stationery. Everything is ready for them to help to extend it the love. In order to give them more solid, so our team help them to apply for the White House Presidential Award, to give them a recognition from White House, from President. So this year, we also in the process doing that. And Tzu Chi Buddhist also feel very proud because you show your care for your team. And currently, Tzu Sao still working with Penghu and Hualien, can you believe it or not? Hualien, the rural children, to improve their English and to give them self-confidence. That's why sometimes when we are in Taiwan on a train, we can hear some kids talking to some foreigners in English. So this is a little bit, everything, all the investment, you can see the change. And besides that, Tzu Chi scholarship give me a chance to advance my education. On the left-hand side, Ramin, she is from Afghanistan. Her family coming to Los Angeles 4 years ago. When she come here, they only have one very old car. They have no skill. Her mom bringing 4 children, running away from their life to find a peace, a place to stay. Through 3 years from Europe to coming over here, she come to us. She said, I want to become a doctor. I want to become an internal medicine doctor. I want to help. I am a refugee. I know how hard my life is. I want to spend my time. Tzu Chi, I find your philosophy, your compassion in action is the place I want to be. So she knocking our door. She is asking for scholarship support. She have 3 jobs in order to make her medical school works. So sometimes she will tell us, I have no additional funding to buy medical school materials. Can you help me? Definitely, we say we help. And I can see her self very assertive. She wants to become a doctor. Now she is in pre-med school. And then Karina is 16 years old. She is coming from San Bernardino College. We provide medical outreach over there. She saw our volunteer helping a lot of people. She also knocking our door for scholarship support. She is alone in USA. All her parents, her sister, brother, for some reason, for the past 3 years, or expire or dead. But she has very strong motivation. She said, Tzu Chi inspire me. I want to pay it forward. I want to share my compassion to take care of my own people. So the scholarship really is open a door for the young generation to come in and to learn what is Tzu Chi. And we are very creativity in order to keep them busy. And in order for us to promote vegetarian, we have Iron Chef. So you can see what a delicious food they prepare. This is all done by Tzu Sao at site. They have to prepare, they have to explain what is that. And you see the outcome. It's all teamwork capacity building. So it's not just coming in. Sometimes when some young generation coming in, they're very silent, but we create space for them to talk. And see, this has just happened last 2 weeks. For Earth Day, they started to promote vegetarian, and then they really know what they are doing though. And all the food is very delicious and wonderful. Very nice presentation. And you can see each table is one team. They create their own team logo. Besides that, they also helping medical outreach at Indiana Spring High School. And they are under 18. Sibu is so nervous. They say, they are 18, they have no knowledge. We cannot put them into a very challenging position. We do. We create a space. And you know, Sibu is getting old. It's very tough for us to move around a lot of things. But you can see those little tigers, They have power to move around, no matter material-wise or spiritual-wise. So we create space for them. And this is the clothing. They organize, they put everything into a hanger, very organized to respectfully share with the residents in need. So it's not just a pile put on a table. No. We share with them how to respect each other's. So this is the way they engage. This time when I go back to Taiwan, I have very strong belief, Master's teaching. Bodhisattva way is a practice, is the actions. And I remember one day she talked to Qing Xiu Shi. She said, Buddhism is not a dictionary or it's a magic that people, and first time I heard Master say Google. So it's such a surprise to me. It's such a dynamic conversation. And from there, honestly, from there, Qing Xiu Shi is so important. From there, really strike me is that when I come back, I started to look into it. 1960, our racial composition to 2060, our racial composition. When we talk about Generation Z, what is the major group I'm facing? The age population from 20 all the way to 44 and then above to 85. So the people's living age is going to be extended. So how can we be ready? So I share with you so many things about the younger, but at the same time, we take care of the elder. So live and learn, Kermit and Alice. They've been married together 60 years. Last weeks, they celebrate their 60 years anniversary. When they come back to USA, to St. Dimas, Kermit always say, I want to share my story with every one of you. What did I do? What do I do in Taiwan? She is such a true model to bring all the senior volunteers together to create a space for tea sharing. This is what Master keeping telling us. The senior, we need to hold in their hand to bring them out. The younger, we need to create space for them to engage. And now I really want to talk about Tzu Chi Buddhism. This just happened last week. Rauki Karas. He is 95. Next month, he will be 96. And you see the bookshelves behind him. Those are true books. 40,000 books behind him. Because on the board of trustees of the Parliament of the World Religion, he made the request to Stephen Avino. He says, Stephen, I want to meet with 2 representatives from Buddhist, the board of trustees. Can you special arrange the time? And for some reason, we just find a time. And 95 years old, know the Buddhist practice very well. And the first sentence he said, my grandfather is not happy inside a graveyard. He's turning around, he wants to do something. And I'm so happy to see Buddha Tzu Chi and then Dharma Deepa's practice are part of the board of trustees. So he opened an invitation, say, this year, the Parliament of World Religion is going to be in Chicago. And he's from Chicago, 1892. His grandfather started the Parliament of World Religions conversation. And he said, I'm open my mansion. Would like to know more about what is Tzu Chi Buddhism doing. And he never heard about Master Zheng Yan. He never interact with Tzu Chi. But he see Tzu Chi engage with the parliament. He saw that parallel events, that global ethic, that the message Master Zheng Yan tried to deliver. So he opened the door for us. And whoever coming over in August, we're going to be in his mansion to see about his Buddhist practice and all the dynamic book he has collected. The true Dharma of Tzu Chi, Master recently talked about Nepal. Education is such an important component in our daily life. So Master talked about what kind of wisdom you have, and really talk about volunteer from Singapore and Malaysia to implement the 6 paramitas. And I believe this one, Joe and the whole team, you have a lot of opportunity to look into that. For the time, I'm not going to get into that one. But how to practice that? We practice that through food, clothing, housing, transportation, and entertainment and activity. So for so many area, what I'm trying to share with every one of you, every impact is changing. Since 2016, we started ethical eating and we push UN platform. This year, we are working with 2022 is UNICEF. 2023 will be UNESCO. And our NGO, INGO partners is getting more and more and more. A lot of time people only say, well, UNICEF, we don't see them do too much for Tzu Chi. We only give them financial support. In reality, that's not true. UNICEF until today, their team is coming to pay a visit for what we are doing for character education next week. And February 24th, Ukraine and Russia's 1-year anniversary. We talked to their staff in Ukraine through video conferencing. Our partners, they share their successful experience with Tzu Chi. CNN Impact the World also have a chance to talk about partnership capacity building. We are the only Buddhist into this national platform, if you really look into it. And our partners share what is Tzu Chi provided. You can see Tzu Chi logo is everywhere because they appreciate our support. And even they come to United States. This is the first time I go to Hollywood, really Hollywood, movie stars place Hollywood. We have a tea party. The tea party to talk about the conversation about humanitarian relief work. You see the setup, everything so frugal, organic, original, and everyone talk about your humanitarian works. And it's really opened my mind and horizon about Tzu Chi tea party. What should we set up? How can we set up? What will be the best way to make people feel comfortable? And you see, it's such a young dynamic. And after we went into their tea party, they come back to our Sandimas and to understand more. We are not just on the ground to provide the support. We are true partnership. So we share about our dye technology, our plastic clothing, and talk about the identity and talk about our potential disaster relief support. And recently, I'm very grateful our GPAT team. They submitted Zimbabwe a special article on the relief web. Even it's only 4 simple sentences, but they share the story of what Tzu Chi do. And this is all the unbelievable effort for the young generation to put Tzu Chi's report actions into a documentary. That Si Gu Si Bo understand this kind of program, like Zimbabwe, the water well, provide a pathway for the foundation volunteer to share how to do farming, irrigation with the local community, and to identify they are lacking of knowledge of agricultural practice. But we document that and we put into a written report. And this written report can be seen through the international platform. So we are not just talk, we also educate, share. So we bring our young generation, we give them space. Don't get me wrong, we give them space, we give them creativity, but we let them know what is the Buddha way for practice. So they come to our abode to learn how to bow, to learn from Si Gu Si Bo, to learn how to pay respect. To them, this is new. They never did it before. And after that, the plate is paper plate, not styrofoam. They are very strong, okay? But we have to use their way. They want to drink soda. So they don't want to drink water, they want soda, which is not so great, but we respect. So today is April 22nd. I know Taiwan is celebrate Earth Day. A lot of activities, Saturday, Sunday is going on right now. And we promote plant-based diet. We share with everyone what is the farmland cost, the water, and what should we do. And we need to love animals to have love the earth. A lot of cartoons to share. And we also indicate the breed of the mouth. Okay, before you eat, you have to think about what's going to happen. So a lot of promotion. And in USA, our Tzu Ching, our Tzu South, they united to serve together. So they go to mountain hike to collect the trash. So I'm so grateful they are doing that. And then they also promote plant-based diet. They create dinosaur and paragods come to our Tzu Chi campus to say carbon neutral and save the earth, leave no one behind. You see all the young generation and all the Si Gu Si Bo so silent to behind to support that, to let them feel like they are empowerment. I just got back from Las Vegas. I'm so touched and moved. This is all medical professional, all dental school students. This is the first time I saw so many dental school students. Saturday, Sunday, 2 days. Saturday from 1 to 6 p.m. to prepare the outreach site. Sunday from 7 to 3 p.m. to serve the community needs. They really want to share their compassion. And I'm so grateful for our doctor who spend their time and effort. And yesterday, I went to Love and Service. It's an international conference for India, the religions for India, a Swami. And when I see their program, I just open my mouth and drop my jaw, say, did you see the journey toward AI? A story presented by young adults. Young adults talk about AI. Everything is changing though. So many changes so fast. And when we try to interact with the young generation to know what's happening around the community, you have to be ready. You have to be able for communication. So ChatGPT, OpenAI, Sutra, Dharma ebook, and Google Buddha, it's become a conversation now. So it's not just meditation, it's not just practice. It's an open conversation. And are we ready? Do you know something is ready right there? Have you ever think about that? Okay, so this is a very interesting conversation. Finally, I'm going to share with you our upcoming activity. Today, we are just finished Nash is Los Angeles County Mental Health Awareness Month. We got a funding, $150,000. Within 3 months, we need to promote mental health. Through various areas, you may see shooting happen in Asian community, in Monterey Park, in Half Moon Bay, in Orange County. And the incidents involved to senior over 60, 65, 70. So mental health is a major issue. And we know Tzu Chi promote senior to do recycling. So we started to put a very quick turnaround package with our topic is resilience in action. Resilience in action. So we're going to invite the impact community, Asian community, the young generation. Now so many school shootings happen. Students need to know when some bully come to them, when something happen, where will be their resources? How can they get help? So in the USA, we have suicide and crisis hotline called 988. It's 24/7. And it's only have English and Spanish. And we are pushing very hard for Chinese right now. So what I'm trying to share with you is Tzu Chi in United States, Tzu Chi in United Nations, in a global platform. Our name has been recognized. This morning, I received a phone call from Federal Emergency Management Administrator Office. He called me and said, Debra, I have something, it's very useful, Tzu Chi can use it. I'm going to ship to you. During the disaster response, you can help us to deliver it to the residents. If we don't have credibility, if we don't have tracking record, we will not be able to receive this kind of phone call. We will not be able to receive Telmash. Such a short turnaround give us $150,000 to care for the community. And this program, again, coordinate planning by Generation Z. The other way, May is American, Asian American, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It's also a VSAC month from the United Nations. But now, because of the community directions, I'm more focused for Asian in USA. The topic is visible together. This is what Master keeping telling us. So Heritage Month started 1992 and by President George Bush. So from then until now, Tzu Chi, we did not really interact with that because what we think about, oh, heritage, it's only a heritage. What can we do? We never think about that. But now White House sent an initiative tell us the visible together. Tzu Chi, please share with us your successful story. What do you try to share with the community? What is Master Zheng Mian's teaching? Visible together. There's a profound indicator right there. We talk about so many things. We talk about the fundamental in USA. We have science, technology, engineering, and mathematics when you talk about STEM. And we also talk about STEAM because from STEM, we added up soft power collaboration. We talk about STEAM. From that today, even though I'm spreading around a little bit program here, a little bit program there. But if you really pay attention, I'm talking about opportunity for young generation and senior together, and how to engagement together and create a special space for them to participate. This is what Jing Si Dharma lineage is, a path of diligent practice. We pass on the Dharma essence through the 4 great vows, I think you all know. And we have so-called Tzu Chi school. Tzu Chi school, Tzu Chi Zhongmen Faman, is a way of Bodhisattva in the world. So we did that, develop compassion and wisdom through the 4 infinitive minds. Jing Si is a path of diligent practice. Tzu Chi is the road through the world. The Jing Si Dharma lineage is a path of diligent practice. The Tzu Chi school is a way of Bodhisattva in the world. Everybody can be a Bodhisattva. Every young generation has a chance, has a capacity to become a Bodhisattva. So I'm going to stop right here and thank you for giving me the time. And we still have 5 minutes, I believe. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be very happy to answer and to share. And let me know what you can do. Yeah. Okay. For your answer, everybody say 13, 13, 15. Okay. My magic answer to you all, 11. 11 years old. She is only 11 years old. She is from Pakistan. She is from Pakistan. You cannot believe it, how solid she is. And she introduced President Obama, the strategic officer, and she challenged her. President Obama, your foundation is helping so many people. What is your criteria? What is your direction? What is the next generation can engage? She is very powerful. So you can see the young generation engaged right now, 11 years old. What do you do when you are 11? That's why I ask myself, I say, what do I do when I'm 11 years old? So she is wonderful. She is amazing. And she already set her career very clearly. She wants to become more voices. I'm not trying to push gender equality, woman empowerment. I don't mean to do that. But what I see so far, when we talk about a lot of international conversation and dialogue, you can see female, women, younger generations, they have more voices. They want to be heard. And they always have a very solid action plan. And they also follow up the outcome indicator. So the answer is 11. Okay. All right. Is there any questions or anything else you would like to ask, or any things that I can improve better or to share with you? I'm just sharing from global perspective, come back to United States. And United States is, Master always say, if the USA cannot do it right, everything will not be easy to move forward. So in order for us to do it right, we have to create a platform for all walks of life and also different age group to start it early for entry point to let them understand. And brain writing is the most important area. They have to know financial planning, where is the money coming from, and how to implement the money and to carry out a program. It's a profound process. It's not just writing. It's not just say, I have a good English writing. It's good as you meet the basic requirement. But then from there, you have to know how to develop a program, how to execute a program, how to report a program. So that's pretty much. So we still have 12 people here. Any other questions?
Brother
Yes.
Joe or Brother Robert?
Yes, thank you, Sister Debra. And we open to the floor. Anybody that would like to comment and also feedback, definitely gave us a very broad perspective, coming from the point of age, go from very, very young to quite old, 90-some, and going from Taiwan and going from US to much, much broader horizon for all of us. So anybody that would like to provide any feedback, anybody? Raise your hand, open your mouth. Okay, sister.
Okay, cảm ơn. Wow, truly very empowering. Cảm ơn Sister Debra and cảm ơn Brother Joe for facilitating. Truly, yeah, those actually there are more people at YouTube, but anyway, more people will be watching the recording because of the different time zone, especially like our African families. Yeah, today talk, Sister Debra, really very empowering. Maybe this is something personal. Because I'm office staff, and recently, even since last year, when we attended talks, corporate talks, people are talking about ESG at the corporate level, environmental, social governance, and of course the fundings are. The corporates are also trying to do something. The fundings are cheaper there. So many corporates, what they do there is some corporates that we know, they are looking at the saving of utilities, the green awards to the building. I mean, the points will be through that side. So they are trying to presented via those ways, and they even have maybe funds, certain funds set aside for people who could event things that could bring example, in one of the example, we saw that the funds that is given to one of the corporate in India, they managed to harvest water, clean water from the air, and then in the office they can drink that water. So it's good for those places that have a water shortage. So I did send emails to them asking, hey, what about something that everyone can do? It's just like in Malaysia, there's this Asia company, everyone can fly. I say ESG, everyone can do. How? Higher vegetarianism, and each of us can contribute. Of course, it's good that if everyone can embrace them, because we know that it's the best way to combat climate crisis. But unfortunately, these emails are when we talk about, okay, it can be through each meal that we adopt vegetarian meal and how we could save. But somehow, I think corporate walls they not sure how to bring this across, but it went silent after that. Frankly, I must admit, I gave up after sending emails. I sent to several places. So I was thinking how to do that. For us, each of us that can do via adopting vegetarian meal, push this idea to corporate so that they can allow their staff to, encourage, of course, because we have a connection to Tzu Chi, we have done it in the world of Tzu Chi, how we can engage all this corporate, use this ESG, adopting this vegetarian through this platform, and we can hopefully do wider. Today, sure, hopefully this is the thing that I'm facing. My sister Debra.
Thank you for asking that. My input is when we try to promote plant-based diet, we started 2016. Now it's 2023. It takes time. The other way is a lot of time you have to really know what is the community, and you have to find, it's not asking them to become a vegetarian. You really need to work with them, see what's the objections and what will be the best way, and step by step. So that's why Master Zheng Yan always say, I don't ask you to become a full vegetarian right now. That started from one. You have one meal, one day, 1 month, 1 year, then you become a habit. So it's really give space and then work with them, holding their hands. And the company, slowly, everybody will move into that directions. What I see more and more company, all the official events, they only provide vegetarian. The Hollywood, I'm so shocked that day when I walk into it, it's everything vegetarian. So it's so, I'm speechless, okay? because they know Tzu Chi is coming, so vegetarian. But the response they say, it's easier to prepare vegetarian food compared to non-vegetarian food. So it's become a habit now. So like the water fountain, the power of the fountain, you drop it, and the circle spreading around the fountain can be started from a small one and expanded to a big one. So we continue our effort. It will come true. Okay, any other questions? I'm very happy. I think it's from everywhere, everyone. I saw Robert is walking too. Hopefully this is a good opportunity for you to understand. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Debra, for sharing your wealth of experience and what we are seeing through your eyes, you know. In fact, I cannot agree with you more. Yeah, this continuity of striving to do what I think Tzu Chi has been doing, I think is important. I think what I have gone through recently is, I think one corporate company, you know, they decided to donate a big sum of money, and they went through among their committees, their ESG committees, and I think a majority of them selected Tzu Chi, you know. So I think we have gained some form of recognition in the society. When people think of disasters, the first thing they have in their mind is Tzu Chi. And when they have something that they wanted to do together, they think of us, you know. So we were very proud that we have reached this level, because I think all of us, I think we are, you know, following our master's direction, and we are doing it the proper way. And of course, I think Su Ching, you know, I think all of us, sometimes when we wanted to try to do something, you know, maybe we cannot get the result that we want. But indirectly, I think the good things that we are doing, I think we are also propagating, you know, all this to the corporate world as well. So like it or not, you know, I think once, you know, we are forming like some form of an AI, you know, that once you Google and you look for disasters, probably Tzu Chi's name will definitely come out, you know. You know. So I think in that sense, I think I agree with Sister Debra, you know, 100% that we just continue to do what is right, you know. Once we do it, you know, I think that ripples, you know, will continue to flow to the society. Yeah, Canon so much.
The other things is, please think outside the box. Now everybody recognize Tzu Chi's position and Tzu Chi's leadership. Internally, we need to continue to grow. We need to be ready. And now when I say GPT and AI, Tzu Chi, we have to go into slowly, maybe not slowly, need to move into that direction for the curriculum planning, to share with everyone the tool. The toolkit is available. So when Sangren say Google Dharma, okay, Google Hualien, Google Hualien, I'm so shocked. But she already identified the direction though. She already tell us, you know, Dharma is not just Google. Dharma is in practice. You can Google, you can read Dharma from Google, but if you don't practice, it's still a Google Dharma. So there's a lot of profound meaning. So I know it's 8:33. Everybody has a very busy schedule for Saturday. I'm very grateful that you give me the chance to share, and I'm also learning from you quite a bit. Congratulations for doing such a wonderful work, and from all over the world. I think it's Southeast Asia one, but I'm very grateful. Thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sister Su Ching, you're muted. Sister Su Ching, you're muted.
Okay, so sorry, Sister Debra and Brother Joe for being our great sharer and inspired us a lot with today wisdom of life. To the brothers and sisters, today truly many have gone for their activities. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Let us invite our brother, Sister Debra to lead us in making 3 vows to the Buddha and Master Chen Yan as we depart to apply all these wonderful teachings in our work in life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life with essential. All together. First vow. Second vow. And about our beloved masters that will join us today. Kan everyone take good care, stay safe. Kan everyone take care, stay safe.